Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please stand for the national anthem. Welcome to our graduation and award ceremony for the class of 2021. Today, we celebrate our students' attainment of the Bachelor of Law degree from the world-renowned University of London. We also celebrate the achievements of our continuing students who have performed with distinction at the 2021 examinations. Further, we wish to celebrate the law school's major successes over the last academic year as we continue to pioneer new ways of enriching the lives of our students and guaranteeing greater successes in teaching and learning and overall institutional strengthening. Thank you for joining us at this time of celebration and Thanksgiving. Welcome. We open with the principal's address. I invite our principal, Mr. Regan Rowans, who will address us on the major developments for the preceding academic year. Mr. Rowans, we thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us at this time of celebration and Thanksgiving, as we recognize the achievements of our graduates and continuing students, and as we give thanks for another year of growth and experience and opportunity, notwithstanding added and amplified challenges. This opportunity is always a humbling one. My presentation will account for the major developments that took place at ILAS over the last year, as well as for the many developments that have been ushered in as ILAS forges forward. Let me begin by congratulating all of our students who attempted the exams in 2021. It is important that we recognize and celebrate effort and improvement and achievements as well. Some of you may not have achieved the marks you desired and most assuredly deserved. Still, we congratulate you and we thank you for persevering and being exemplars to your colleagues and others. Congratulations on your sterling achievements. You have made your parents and teachers proud, your community too, your friends and fellow citizens. Your achievements are a measure of your personal investment, hard work, sacrifice, and perseverance, and for this we applaud you. Your achievements are also a lesson and inspiration to us all, that our pursuits must be to the best of our ability, and in spite of challenges, we can achieve. That with the help of others, we can find purpose and prosper. This month, we celebrate 23 years as an established institution, providing tuition for the University of London Bachelor of Laws degree and the Certificate of Higher Education in Common Law. We have also added the Postgraduate Certificate in Law. We have also embarked on our very own professional courses for practicing attorneys and other persons. Of note is our new partnership with the prestigious University of Law of the United Kingdom. We are now an international partner with ULaw, through which students can complete the Legal Practice course, the LPC, and the Masters in Law, the LLM, and receive a special ILAS award of up to 20,000 TT. In the coming months, this partnership will widen with the university as ILAS expands the offerings to students and potential students. This milestone is certainly deserving of celebration, ILAS having produced several hundreds of attorneys at law and several hundreds more LLB graduates. It is also a time for reflection and an opportunity for further growth. Undoubtedly, having to battle 2 years of COVID and associated restrictions and a difficult economy, we are further compelled to strengthen our resolve to deal with these tough times and still give thanks. Our greatest challenge and ambition as a tertiary education provider continues to be to keep up to date with the trends in higher education globally. On one hand, progressing towards greater integration of technology in teaching and learning, blended learning comprising online and face-to-face methods, and effective teaching through constructive alignment and transitioning from teaching as telling to student partnership. On the other hand, we endeavor to healthily compete against the best performers in the world as we continue to fight against myths about the University of London's program as compared to local original programs. Above all, we endeavor to ensure that our curriculum is a rigorous and diverse one, cohering to the highest standards, producing critical thinkers, developing leaders, and stimulating autonomy and learning, sound research skills, and engendering the confidence in students to triumph beyond the doors of ILAS. It is this vision and mission that guide us from year to year. This ambition and vision and mission were put to test perhaps more than ever since 2020, when unexpectedly the usual conduct of classes ceased due to COVID. What a development that was. However, ILAS was already positioned to weather the storm. Within a few days, all classes resumed fully, this time online, with no loss to teaching time and examination preparations. A further challenge came when, again in light of COVID, scheduled examinations were pushed back and the format went from paper and pen to online, initially through a proctoring facility. This facility presented a number of challenges to students, and exams were again pushed back. Our students had to endure an inordinately elongated examination period, which left them exhausted. However, they persevered and performed well. Undoubtedly, this was also a challenge for lecturers, who committed more time to assist the students and to keep them encouraged, as well as for our administrative staff, who had to now work from home and ensure students remain supported. Still, we remain thankful. We survived, and we are stronger and more resilient. One of the greatest highlights of our academic year are our results. In 2021, more than 70 students obtained LLB degrees, a significant increase from 2020, 14 of whom obtained or achieved upper second-class honors degrees. As in previous years, several students scored first-class marks, notably in contract law, 3 in criminal law, 6 in public law, 4 in EU law, family law, equity and trusts, 5 in jurisprudence, 4 in civil and criminal procedure, and company law. 28 individual first-class marks in all, a record at ILAS. Additionally, for the third time in 4 years, our students topped the world. These world toppers are placed first to third, the top 3 students in each of the subjects within the LLB program. The recipients of the World Top Award and the University of London Certificate of Excellence went to Jade Kiswa for family law, Arlene Ramjit Singh and Samantha Peters for civil and criminal procedure, and Liana Pereira for contract law. As we forge forward in 2022, we will continue to push hard and continuously improve upon our efforts to provide the best conditions of learning in order to give our students the best opportunities to maximize their potential and compete on the world stage. Co-curricular and student support. ILAS is also known and respected for the support and opportunities provided to our students beyond the classroom. Undoubtedly, essential skills beyond academia are important to the practice of law, but also to develop a sense of social responsibility and service. Consequently, we continue to engage in debating social and cultural events, co-curricular activities, and more. Regrettably, we were unable to host our annual debates, sports and family day, and mooting competitions. However, some of these will return this year, although we continue to hold our open day virtually. Additionally, and in spite of COVID, we continue this year with our free street law course for secondary school students, general members of the public, and NGOs and working professionals. Over 200 persons benefited from the 3 installments of the course, all online, of course. They benefited from shared knowledge on 7 key areas of law and practice. Each participant received a certificate of participation. The feedback was inspiring. This will continue this year, together with our free legal aid clinic for members of the public, as we remain committed to contributing meaningfully to our nation's development. ILAS will also launch its own journal, the ILAS Review, an academic journal that will be published soon. This journal will contain contributions on topical, legal, and social issues from students, staff, and alumni, NGOs, and other worthy contributions. The idea behind this is to deepen our research and writing capacity, as well as to play a more central role in the influencing of opinion and policies towards our country's development, directly and indirectly. As we endeavor to continue our internal internship programs for continuing students who get the opportunity to work with attorneys and organizations, and this too will continue this year in a hybrid or with a hybrid model. Quality assurance. Important to the smooth running of any organization is its quality management system. Relevant to this is our periodic review by the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago, which will be renewed this year, and our review process for our certified teaching status to run the certificate program was also again completed by the University of London and will again be reviewed this year, 2022. A continuing very important development at ILAS over the last few years has been the introduction of a range of short and professional courses, and these too will continue, again in a hybrid format. Program changes. In 2021, there were no major program changes, save that we introduced the second enrollment date of April and May. This means that new students can start their law studies either in April or in September as usual. Those starting in April will have the option of sitting up to 2 exams in October of the same year. The first and second batch of students who enrolled in the April-May session performed remarkably well. They were also the first set of students who studied completely online. Challenges, well, unique challenges and ongoing challenges. Despite our many successes in the preceding year, there exists a number of challenges. Some of these are beyond our control. For example, and we are compelled to repeat this year to year, lingering doubt about the University of London LLB and yielding spaces and the continued recognition of the LPC and BPTC in Trinidad and Tobago. Of more recent vintage is the ongoing case of Hadid versus the AG, which we hope will be resolved soon finally, if it goes up to the highest court. But we appreciate the efforts made by the current AG to resolve this matter to the benefit of our students and holders of LPCs to go on to be called to the bar in Trinidad and Tobago. We are certainly hoping that with our evident successes, the powers that be would look beyond what some would call sheer elitism in legal education and suspicious protectionism regarding the legal profession. Nevertheless, ILAS blazes on. As I conclude, I say to the graduating class and those in attendance every year, in keeping with ILAS's motto of let knowledge increase, that life be perfected, we yearn for greater success. There's nothing more humbling and encouraging and inspiring and fulfilling to see right learning in action with a commitment to contribute to and show gratitude to humanity. Knowledge and education are not ours to keep, but to share and to leave the world better than we met it. Bear in mind that the worth of a life is not determined by a single failure or a solitary success. Life has taught us that however much we stumble, it is always our hope that with new learning, our character might be changed, and so too our destiny. Let this not be our final encounter. And may I leave you with a quote from Robert Greene Ingersoll from 1876. He said, "Reason, observation, and experience, the holy trinity of science, have taught us that happiness is the only good, and that the time to be happy is now, and the way to be happy is to make others so." Congratulations on your accomplishments. I thank you.
We now have remarks from Simon Askey, Dean of Undergraduate Laws, University of London, who joins virtually from London. Mr. Askey brings remarks on behalf of the awarding university, the University of London. Thank you, Simon.
I'm grateful that I can join you today, albeit virtually rather than in person, to celebrate with you the successful completion of your law studies with the University of London. Today is your day, a day when the focus is on you and on your success. Congratulations. I hope that you enjoy your moment of glory and welcome all the praise you receive for all you have achieved. Doubtless you will also want to lavish some praise on those who have supported you in achieving this goal. Some of you will be thanking your parents, perhaps for their financial as well as moral support. Others will be thanking their spouses and partners and all those they count as family and loved ones for all they have done to keep them motivated to complete this award. Your teachers and your teaching centre have also played a role in your success, and I join you in thanking them. For many of you, the LLB will be a stepping stone to the professional stage of legal training and part of your preparations for a career in legal practice. Others among you will have different aspirations and ambitions. I've had the privilege to meet undergraduate laws alumni who have gone on to careers as diverse as acting and modelling, journalism and butler in the royal household. Many more have gone down the more conventional paths for law graduates in academia, business, commerce and politics. Whatever you decide to do, having studied law, you will have seen how rules affect every aspect of our lives, and I hope that this stands you in good stead for many years to come. As law graduates of the University of London, you join the tens of thousands of alumni who make and interpret laws, defend the vulnerable, encourage social progress, and promote peaceful resolutions to all kinds of wrongs. I hope that what you have gained through studying law, you will use for the good of all. Many congratulations from all of us in undergraduate laws and our very best wishes for the future.
We will now have the presentation of graduates and the awarding of certificates. Isis Alkal, Bjorn Alexander, Shamila Ann Ali, Rashad Isa Baksh, Mariah Baldeo Singh, Gina Baptiste, Tiffany Chanel Letitia Barnett, Savitri Bidesi, Rock Shane Antonio Benjamin, Vanessa Bisessa, Lucille Boudet, Crystal Hilary Cordelia Carr, Alicia Shanice Nikita Daniel, Chad Jamal Michael Dematas, Diane Dean, Denise Yu, Kevin Felix, Isaiah Ferguson, Rael Priyanka Gandhi, Sherelle Gibson, Ambika Gosain, Daniel Carla Hackshaw, Jesse Brian Hyman Hackshaw, Natalia Hussein, Chris Arshad Hussein, Safia Hussein, Cyrilla Hospitalis, Joel Jack, Kerry Jadu, Shalon Roberta Jessup Whiteman, Kirby Josing, Jamila Joanna J.L. Julian, Priyana Lachman, Brandon Pradeep Maharaj, Shivana R.T. Maharaj, Pranava Satyadeep Maharaj, Terry Ted Martin, Makiba Katifa Matthews, Sandia Mira, Simone Moore, Soraya Motley, Chadwick Mark Daniel Noel, Samantha Cassandra Peters, Kester Arlington Phillips, Aliyah Kara Polo, Lisa Primchan, Parvati Ragbir, Megan Rambachan, Kenitra Ramcharan, Daniela Brittany Ramdan, Arlene Ramjit Singh, Cassandra Ramkisoon, Jason Ricardo Ramlal, Devika Rose Ramlochan, Samara Ramnarain, Chelsea Shania Michelle Ramnarain Singh, Ranveer Rampasad, Marcia Ann Rampasad, Shivana Ramraj, Sharice Rike, Genevieve Melinda Seth Felix, Kavir Samlal, Rishad Sicharan, Chantel Sinanan Singh, Vidya Charlene Singh, Dioki Sukram, Candice Sira, Terry Teasdale Richardson, Angel Victor, Empule Williams, Mark Williams, Stephan Wilson, Mia Wilson. At this time, we will have the featured address of our featured speaker who needs very little introduction. Attorney at Law, Mr. Jagdev Singh. Mr. Singh, an experienced lawyer in both criminal and civil matters, is always eager to assist young lawyers at the bar through advice and guidance. He is well known for his work ethic, articulation and advocacy before the courts of Trinidad and Tobago, and commitment to his clients. His emphasis on preparation and attention to detail make him a formidable opponent in court and an effective cross-examiner. Mr. Singh is very much a team player and leader. He served as the captain of the cricket team at the Trinidad Muslim League School in St. Joseph. He later served as captain of the cricket team at Hillview College, where he earned the title of Sportsman of the Year while being an outstanding student. Mr. Singh has been in private practice since 1989 and has been involved in a significant number of murder trials in the criminal court. He has conducted, as advocate, in excess of 300 criminal appeals, which range from appeals concerning murder convictions, drug possession and trafficking convictions, and convictions relating to firearm offenses. Many of the decisions which Mr. Singh has obtained in his appellate work are commonly cited as precedent and persuasive authority throughout the local criminal court system. Most recently, Mr. Singh has successfully appealed the conviction of popular singer-songwriter Marsha Montano, and in the process enticed the Court of Appeal to provide authoritative guidance on a magistrate's duty to give reasons for a judicial decision. His portfolio in civil litigation is equally impressive, having advocated points of law concerning malicious prosecution, personal injuries, breach of contract, and issues of company law. He has taken part in several notable and prominent judicial review applications and constitutional motions. His expertise has been enhanced through his experience in serving as counsel to various commissions of inquiries, such as the Commission of Inquiry into the Las Alturas, a housing project, and the Commission of Inquiry into the 1990 attempted coup. Mr. Singh has also been particularly successful in customs-related matters, including several judicial review actions arising from the decisions of the Comptroller of Customs and Excise. Mr. Singh is a member of the Bar of Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and Grenada, and has also advised the Anti-Corruption Bureau of the Government of Antigua on several complex cases of fraud and corruption. I would now invite Mr. Singh at this time. Thank you, sir, for an insightful and inspiring discourse.
Principal, specially invited guests, parents, loved ones of graduates and graduates, all other protocol observed. It is indeed a distinct honor to be asked to address this class. ILAS holds a special place in my heart. As Fortis Chambers has continued our growth process, we have begun to take notice of the great number of talented young lawyers this institution consistently produces. It is indicative of the high standards of legal education which this institution insists upon, thereby providing the requisite platform to promote the exceptional legal talent this country produces, which oftentimes the traditional law schools cannot accommodate due to controlled numbers. I wish to recognize ILAS for providing a safe haven for such scholars to develop with what is no doubt an outstanding talent base. This scholastic excellence, however, does not end here. The road ahead is indeed a challenging and oftentimes rocky one. However, from my experience, with a great deal of ILAS graduates, you have been provided with a superlative base to forge your way ahead in the legal profession. Enough said about that. I must confess that I was somewhat surprised, if not bemused, that I would be asked to address this graduating class. I am indeed deeply humbled by this request, and I wish to thank the principal and administration of ILAS for giving me this opportunity. After I was able to surmount the combination of surprise and bemusement, I began to consider, what should I say to a bunch of graduating students which they perhaps have not heard before? You would no doubt have been inundated and perhaps even bombarded with the usual trite topics of integrity and ethics, hard work, and all of the usual suspects in this regard. I did not think that an extended talk on these soporific subjects would excite the minds of the future leaders of the legal profession. Instead, after much introspection and rumination, I thought perhaps the most overlooked topic for young people entering the profession must be the development of a deep and implicit understanding and appreciation of two core concepts of the law. The first of which is A, the unique and distinct role of lawyers in a constitutional democracy, and B, the independence of the legal profession, which serves to foster and promote the societal ideal identified at A above. The foundation of a constitutional democracy has at its heart the fundamental concept of the rule of law. The rule of law is that ephemeral, ever-pervading core constitutional concept which lies at the heart of good governance. It represents the steady but pulsating heartbeat of a healthy democratic rule. It is that protean concept which allows the judges at common law to shape and adapt the law so as to meet modern notions and standards of good governance and fair and proportionate decision making. It is this notion, in essence, which is incapable of exhaustive definition, which is usually invoked by the legal profession to ensure that governments do not choose to oppress the general citizenry. Administrative oppression is in itself, like the rule of law, a protean creature. It can take the form of outright illegality, unfair decision-making, disproportionate sanctions, and last but not least, administrative inertia. The fact that the rule of law is expressed as a protean concept, capable of lending itself to an application in a multifaceted manner, is perhaps the expression of the collective wisdom of the common law. It is this multi-dimensional application of this concept which allows creative and public-spirited lawyers to stand in the role of vindicators of constitutional propriety and to ensure that administrators are held to account in every facet of life as we know it. We may think that the rule of law is a topic to be bandied about lightly. However, governmental decision-making affects every aspect of a person's life. Think for a moment of the elderly grandmother who is met with stout resistance by a low-level functionary in the pension office. Without a lawyer willing to take up the challenge and hold to account this functionary and to apply the law in a fair, impartial, and proportionate manner, it may result in the very same grandmother being denied what is due to her. As lawyers, we must insist on the strictest adherence to fairness in the governance process. This does not mean that public institutions must be allowed to escape scrutiny with nothing more than a cursory and minimalist adherence of the law. We must insist that authorities observe in both substance and spirit the quintessence of the rule of law. We must be resolute. The law must not only be observed, but must be observed in a fair, proportionate, and equal manner. In essence, that in my mind sums up the rule of laws in a constitutional democracy. There can hardly be any quarrel with the well-accepted notion that most post-colonial democracies are beset with problems of administrative lethargy and perhaps even reticence. In some academic quarters, administrative bodies operate in an environment of near paralysis. The failure to make a decision is just as bad as making a bad decision. It can hardly be described as ideal for administrative bodies to sit by and defer decision making whilst the citizen cannot access the benefit of the required decision. Indeed, the law reports abound with cases of outright administrative bad faith. Your challenge in this socio-economic, administrative landscape, dotted as it is with the minefields of class and political divisions, deeply embedded in a post-colonial society, is how do you ensure that you perform what is perhaps your core duty as a lawyer? The insistence on the adherence to and the observance of the rule of law at all times. The citizen cannot do it. The administration, whatever form it may take, has no interest in doing it. The courts can only decide disputes brought before it. It thus falls squarely on the shoulders of the legal profession. As you stand on the cusp of undertaking a challenging but intellectually rewarding profession, I beseech you to develop a deep and implicit understanding of the important role you are going to be asked to play in the future. If lawyers as a group are to make a meaningful and everlasting contribution to create the ideal society which is just, fair, and equitable, then we can only do so with a professional, lifelong commitment to the vindication of the rule of law. The administrative undermining of the rule of law does not only take the form of illegal, unfair, disproportionate decision making. It also takes the form of an unwillingness to implement laws which have been passed and proclaimed. Laws which are not implemented do not serve the citizenry of the Republic. It is contrary to the public interests, and as a matter of fact, it undermines public confidence in the parliamentary process and legislative process. It cannot be acceptable that Parliament enacts laws, proclaims them into being, and then there is no will to implement the law. As lawyers serving the vindication of the rule of law in a democracy, you must be stoutly resolute in your insistence that governmental bodies charged for implementing laws passed and proclaimed do so in a timely manner. It is far too often that politicians of all ilks espouse first world rhetoric both within and without the Parliament and pass laws which seek to give effect to those lofty ideals only for those laws to sit gathering dust on the statute book. This oftentimes commonplace lack of will to give effect to statutes, statutory provisions designed to protect and promote the public interest is unacceptable and antithetical to the rule of law. An essential component of the rule of law is to ensure that the public interests expressed through these statutes are observed and implemented. It is both a daunting and challenging task. It is a thankless job. However, it is a necessary one. It is one that compels you to use your legal training to achieve the highest egalitarian ideals. You must never abandon it. It must always be that niggling little thought that keeps you going. It must be the bothersome obsession that wakes you in the middle of the night, scrambling for the pen and notepad on your nightstand. It must be your own silent ethos, the ever-pervading spirit which motivates you. However, that is only achievable if you always remember that the legal profession must stand independent at all times. The rule of law can only be vindicated and upheld and adhered to through the vanguard of a fiercely independent legal profession. There are literally hundreds of academic works and enough literature generated on the independence of the judiciary. The publication of the Bangalore Principles on Judicial Conduct and Independence represents the experiential wisdom of centuries of common law judges. However, the independence of the legal profession is often looked upon as somewhat of a bastard child in the overall architecture of a democratic society. The independence of the legal profession is that essential pillar without which a democratic society cannot survive. Nazi Germany and the horrors which were commonplace at that time started with a simple smashing of shop windows, often referred to by historians by the German name of Kristallnacht. Thereafter, a tidal wave of oppression which enveloped an entire continent soon followed. The legal profession, from courts to practitioners, were unequivocally compromised. This absolute breakdown set the stage for oppression and genocide to reign supreme. Uppermost in your mind, paying homage to the rule of law, must always be this nugget of wisdom. Evil flourishes only when good men and women say and do nothing. As lawyers in a post-colonial constitutional democracy, you must strive steadfastly and resolutely maintain your independence. You will not always have easy cases. The late great Wendell once famously said, "Hard cases make good law." Your cause will not always be popular. You may often incur the ire and the wrath of friends and family. But remember, above all of that is your deep and abiding duty to ensure the observance of the rule of law. I am not for a moment advocating that you ought not to have your preferences. Indeed, to have preferences must be human. You must engage in social dialogue. You must have alliances, be they politically or socially. To ask otherwise would be to ask you to do the impossible. However, the soul-searching exercise you must perform constantly is whether your preferences, be they social, political, or financial, is clouding your judgment or compromising your core duty as a lawyer and your constant insistence on the adherence to the rule of law. A lawyer must constantly guard his independence with a fierceness of spirit, an indomitable will, purposeful manner, and an unstinting commitment to protect the less fortunate and downtrodden through that protean concept known as the rule of law. Indeed, that spirit must shine so bright that it makes it clear to any would-be protagonist of compromise that such an attempt would be an exercise in futility. Such is your task. As I close, I leave you with a task that is exciting, exhilarating, and daunting at the same time. I challenge you to find that perfect mix of activism and independence. It is richly rewarding intellectually. It is what stirs your passion. It is what gives you meaning as a lawyer. It is what drives your intellectual spirit that you are no doubt blessed with. My challenge to you as you go toward your postgraduate studies is to find that perfect mix of activism and independence, to discover passion, to stoke intellectual passions which lie in your bellies, and to go forth in this exciting profession charged with the heavy responsibility that lawyers bear in the architecture of a constitutional democracy. The protection, promotion, furtherance, and fostering of the quintessence of the democratic ideal, conveniently labeled as the rule of law, lies in the bosom of the legal profession. It is no easy task, but it is our task. It is not one which we must easily shirk. We must do our collective best to ensure that we make our small contribution towards it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your task as you go forward. Congratulations to all of you graduates on your hard work. That commitment and that hard work has undoubtedly paid off for you today. As you embark on the postgraduate aspect of your studies, on behalf of myself and my entire team at Fortis Chambers and the legal profession, if I may dare to speak on behalf, I congratulate all of you, and we look forward to seeing this future class join us on the battlefields of the courtroom. Congratulations and thank you very much.
At this time, we recognize those students who have performed with distinction in the various subject areas, as well as those students who have demonstrated great skill and other abilities that are valuable to the legal profession. Donna Friday Cole, Best Performance, Criminal Law. Amina Ali, Outstanding Performance, Criminal Law. Jamili Richards, Outstanding Performance, Criminal Law. Shezray Nesbitt, Best Performance, Public Law. Sasha Maharaj, Best Performance, Public Law. Chris Chinchuk, Outstanding Performance, Public Law. Samantha David, Outstanding Performance, Public Law. Angel Joseph, Outstanding performance, public law. Liana Pereira, best performance, contract law. She is also a world topper, having received the University of London Certificate of Excellence for 2021. Mandy Harilal, best performance, legal system and method. Georgia Alsop Ghana, best performance, tort law. Denise Yu, best performance, tort law. Chelsea Ramnarayan Singh, best performance, jurisprudence and legal theory. Chris Hussein, best performance, jurisprudence and legal theory. Shalon Jessup Whiteman, outstanding performance, jurisprudence and legal theory. Kester Phillips, outstanding performance, jurisprudence and legal theory. Rachel Pittman, outstanding performance, jurisprudence and legal theory. Arlene Ramjit Singh, best performance in civil and criminal procedure. She also topped the world, having received the University of London Certificate of Excellence in 2021. Samantha Peters, outstanding performance, civil and criminal procedure. She also received the World Topper Award, having received the University of London Certificate of Excellence in 2021. Mia Wilson, outstanding performance, civil and criminal procedure. Isaiah Ferguson, outstanding performance, civil and criminal procedure. Simone Moore, best performance, EU law. Jason Ramlal, best performance, EU law. Georgia Alsop Ghana, best performance, EU law. Sachel Satnarayan, best performance, EU law. Simone Moore, best performance, property law. Rashad Baksh, best performance, company law. Simone Moore, best performance, equity and trust. Nicholas Maraj, best performance, international protection of human rights. Jade Kiswa, best performance in family law. She also received the World Topper Award and received the University of London Certificate of Excellence in 2021. Simone Moore, Special Award for Critical Thinking. Diane Dean, Special Award, Leadership and Co-Curricular Development. Simone Moore, Valedictorian Award and Most Outstanding Student Overall. Dioki Sukram, Special Award for Succeeding Through Adversity. The following are commendation awards for academic excellence. Rashad Baksh, Vanessa Bisessa, Denise Yu, Isaiah Ferguson, Samantha Peters, Lisa Premchan, Kinitra Ramcharan, Arlene Ramjit Singh, Jason Ramlal, Chelsea Ramnarayan Singh, Cherise Rike, Genevieve Saith Felix, Angel Victor, Mia Wilson, Simone Moore. Thank you to everyone. As always, much thought went into the selection of this year's valedictorian. Miss Simone Moore is an impressive individual. She is an excellent example of a model student and citizen. Miss Moore kept her focus and standards high, possessing an unwavering commitment to excellence. Her ethos speaks to personal sacrifice, strength of will, direction, and sheer industry. Miss Moore has high and well-crafted goals for herself and is well on her way to achieving them. Simone's ambition and steadfastness throughout her law studies cemented her success. In all her years of study, she performed with distinction. Simone received 2 first-class marks in her first year and went on to achieve another 2 in her second and final year. Simone has received awards for public law, criminal law, EU law, property law, and equity and trusts. She has also received the award for critical thinking and most outstanding LLB performance. Simone completed her LLB with an impressive upper second class honors degree. Simone, a single mother, has had to balance work with her studies throughout her LLB. It is achievements such as these that inspire and encourage us through difficult times, an exemplar to us all. Simone is highly respected by her colleagues and lecturers, as she has demonstrated that she is indeed worthy of emulation. It is therefore my esteemed pleasure to introduce our 2021 valedictorian, Miss Simone Moore.
Congratulations to the graduating class of 2021. We've made it. After countless hours of reading, writing, crying, we're finally here. I know. Time flew by, but we have made it successfully, and it would be remiss of me if I did not thank the staff of ILAS today. Reagan, Kimia, Cecilia, Sean, you all have made this journey so much easier for us, and we really wouldn't have been able to do it without you. So thank you to ILAS. Now, most children, when they're very young, they might pretend to be a teacher, police officer, some even superheroes, but not me, no. I used to be in my room, surrounded by teddy bears with a towel thrown over me, a ruler or a hairbrush in my hand, screaming, order in the court. Yes, I used to pretend to be a judge. And let me tell you, I was pretty good, yeah. I was like Judge Hercules. Fair, just. It was not my fault that most of the defense attorneys were rubbish, so most of the teddy bears were often guilty, and sometimes even a few of them was sentenced to death, you know. It happened. Mandatory death sentence. That's where we live. But funny enough, although I wanted to be a judge for many, many years, when it came to choosing subjects in secondary school, I realized, but wait, so many other people wanted to be lawyers, and I decided, you know what, for the sake of practicality, I'm not going to do this. I wanted to set myself up right, so I decided, no law for me. So I abandoned the dream, but you know, I never forgot it. Every few years, I would go back and I would think about it, and I would consider doing it, but I always came up with an excuse why I shouldn't do it. It just didn't seem feasible at all. My family would encourage me, my boyfriend, my friends, but yet I always found some excuse why I shouldn't do it. Until one day, I spoke to my boss, and I mentioned it to him, and you know, he said to me, well, if you love law so much, why don't you do it? And I said to him, well, I think I might be too old at this point. And he said to me, are you crazy? And he actually told me a story about his brother who did law at the age of 45 and turned out to be an attorney general. So after hearing that story, I realized, I had no excuses. And I decided to finally do it. It was not an easy journey. There were a lot of tears, a lot of essays, a lot of confusion sometimes. I remember getting back my first essay from Reagan, and I was so confused because I was like, but what is this grade? Or sometimes you might be reading something and you're wondering, is this in English? Because you read once, you read twice, you read 3 times, and you just don't understand it. But luckily, I was able to make friends here who helped, who were very supportive. And with my family and the faculty here, I was able to get through. Now, I don't tell you this story just because I like to talk about myself. Although I do. I tell you because I want to impress upon you 3 things today. The first thing is that you need a tribe. You need support. Oftentimes you think, you know what, I'm bright, I'm strong, I could do this by myself. But the truth is, you can't. Regardless of where you want to go, whether you decide to pursue law further, whether you decide to do something else, you need support, and you also need to be supportive of others. Because you never know, sometimes it might just be to discuss a case, it might be for someone to remind you about an assignment that you have due. It might just be that you need someone to ask you how you're doing. You need people. And you must always remember that and be grateful and cherish those that you have around you, those who support you, those who push you to be your best self. And let me tell you, I am incredibly grateful for those people around me who have helped me in my journey today. Now, it's also important that you have a tribe for another reason. Because as you embark on this journey, you will often hear voices that tell you, no, you can't do it. And sometimes one of those voices might be your very own. It will tell you, no, you're not good enough. No, you can't do this. What are you doing? This doesn't make sense. And that's when you need your tribe to step in and tell you, no, you are capable. You can do this. We are here for you. Because the truth is, sometimes fear will mask itself as practicality. It will lie outside of your door, and it will seek to control you, but you must master it. You must say to yourself, I can do this, because in each of us, there is a seed of greatness that needs only to be nurtured, and you will flourish. You will thrive wherever you are. And you just need to believe in yourself. You need to tell yourself, hey, self, we can do this, regardless of what anybody else says, and just keep going. Or like Dory says in Finding Nemo, just keep swimming. Finally, my last point. When I first decided to look into law, so many years ago, what attracted me to it was the idea of fairness and justice. And it's still true today. Some people, they think about money. Some people, they think about prestige. But I want to challenge you to strive for a high ideal, for something greater, for something more. Why not try to do the right thing, to fight for justice, to fight for those who don't have a voice, to fight for themselves, to defend those who need a defense? Martin Luther King Jr., he says that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Let us be those instruments. Let us push society towards justice, towards fairness. Let us strive to do what is right in a time where people don't trust attorneys. You hear them all the time. Oh, lawyers are smart men. In a time where attorneys are being ordered to repay their clients, let's try to change that paradigm. Let's change that perception. Let us go out there and let's try to change the world. Congratulations, graduating class of 2021. You have made it. I am so proud of each and every one of us. Thank you, good luck, and I'll see you at the bar. Deuces.
This brings us to the end of the formal part of today's celebrations. Sincerest thanks to all who made today's ceremony possible. All the best and good evening.